I sell myself on TikTok. I dance naked, live. I do that because that's where I can earn money to support myself.
My name is Debula Kemoli, and I'm investigating the grooming and sexual exploitation of girls in some of the most deprived neighborhoods of Nairobi. Girls as young as 15 say they've been targeted and raped by predators on social media. TikTok is the world's fastest growing social media platform, with more than 1.5 billion users worldwide. And it's massive in Kenya. Half of all Kenyans now use the app. TikTok is also a source of money in a country where 2/3 of young people are out of work. During the day, users post light content, including dance challenges, makeup tutorials, and sell their products. Payment takes place on TikTok via emoji gifts, which can be converted into cash.
Come, I'm ready.
But at night, there's a darker side to TikTok. Live streams like this, where women are selling sex. And I've also been told that children are being targeted by so-called digital pimps, men who are grooming girls online and selling them for sex. In Kenya, the age of consent is 18. I've come to Majengo, a poor neighborhood in Nairobi, to meet a girl who describes how she was groomed and raped by men she met through TikTok. She was just 15 at the time.
I sell myself on TikTok. I dance naked, live. I do that because that's where I can earn money to support myself.
As nudity and sexual acts are more likely to be removed by TikTok's content moderation, explicitly sexual videos were shared on another platform.
When you're dancing live, some people will contact you, and then you will take the conversation offline. And then you meet them and sleep with them, and then I get some money from that.
It was through her older friend's account that she was able to get onto TikTok, the same friend who introduced her to a digital pimp.
If you do this, then he tells you he will meet you. After you sleep with him, he says, "Okay, let me think about it. You will get a message through my brother. The brother will then tell you if you got the job or not."
Sasa, kabla ya kuambia uanze kutoa hizo nguo, aliwahi kukuuliza uko na umri gani?
I told him I was 15 years old. He said it is okay, and he loves young girls below 18, and he gives them work.
She had to share any money she made on TikTok with her pimp, who was promising to bring her thousands of followers. TikTok would also be taking a cut, more than 70% of gifts sent on the platform.
Let's say you get 3,000. You have to split it down the middle because he's there and he's following you. You don't know what he's thinking. You don't know if he will send someone, and you don't know what will happen to you. When I get a lion, he converts it to cash and takes his share.
Lakini kuanza kufanya kazi na yeye, kwa mfano kuanza kufanya hizo TikTok na kufanya kazi na yeye, ilianza kabla mkutane face to face?
No, you must talk to him first. There are questions that he will ask you. He will want to see you naked. You have to be naked.
Pole.
The consequences of all this have caused lasting psychological damage.
Child sexual exploitation, that is online, is rampant in Kenya. And because of this, then these children are exposed to a lot of online sexual exploitation and abuse. It's both locals and foreigners target these young girls. And these young girls also, because of poverty, they're driven to look for money from people who offer them sexual, whatever, we call it sextortion.
Another young woman has agreed to talk to us anonymously. We're calling her Jay. Shortly after joining TikTok at 16 years old, Jay says she was introduced to one of these so-called digital pimps.
He started by asking me to send him my naked pictures. He told me that if I sent him my pictures, he would pay me. Because I was desperate, I decided to do it. I met him and he asked me to have sex with him, and we had sex.
She says when she decided to get away and report him, things took a sinister turn.
Later, I threatened him on the phone that I will report him on what he has done to me. He laughed and said that I can't report him and there's nothing I can do to him. He does not live in Kenya. He kept saying he will see who is the strongest. When I heard that, I threw away my phone.
By now, she had cut off all contact, but was suspicious that she was being followed.
I went to town to sell myself. I was in a bar and I saw two men behind me. I thought these are the same people I left at the bus stop. If I move, they move.
She's now in hiding, moving from place to place and living in fear.
The caregivers and parents have very little knowledge on how to protect children to be exploited or abused online. Of course, TikTok, because of the ease in which you can access it, I think there's a much higher probability for these perpetrators to see young girls dancing nicely and whatever and getting in touch with these girls. So, but I want to emphasize that it's across all social media, Instagram, X, Facebook.
All this content is controlled under TikTok. This is not allowed.
TikTok Live was recently introduced in Kenya, requiring more content moderation. This man works for a company called Teleperformance in Nairobi, who are contracted by TikTok to flag up and remove banned content. He says it's almost impossible to keep up with the amount of content being shared.
The number of videos on TikTok compared to the number of moderating isn't comparable. Yeah, there is a huge distance, and the artificial intelligence is not perfect. So this job requires the employment of a lot of people. What we've got is not enough.
We've been going on TikTok lives and we've seen sexually explicit content and people advertising sexual services. There's young people who go on TikTok, teenagers, and they're able to see this kind of content. Why is it still able to get to the public?
TikTok Live was introduced recently here in Kenya. And those moderators, they're working during normal day hours. They're working from 9 to 6 to moderate live content. I think they've started now covering night times. But moderation should never stop 24/7. But actually, live content, which is sexual in nature, tend to appear at night times.
I've come to meet Farida, who helps to rescue girls who have been sexually abused.
Kwa hiyo kwa mfano sasa watoto, nielezee zaidi kuhusu watoto basi.
Sasa watu wamehamia kwa mitandao, watoto wanapata attention sana kwa mitandao kwa sababu pia hichi kizazi ambacho tuko cha digital. Watoto wanapoa masimu, sasa ile eneo pia limeharibika na TikTok, yani kiupande wa ndani, watoto wametafuta side nyingine ya kufanya mambo mengine ya. Akaambia fungua mapaja, anafungua, fungua matiti, anafungua. So these people they are there kwa sababu unajua pale ndio njia rahisi ya kupata watoto. Kwa sababu jamii haifuatilii, wazazi wetu kusema kweli wafuatilii mitandao. Vizazi vya sasa hivi viko na akili sana kushinda hata wazazi wao. Lakini nikienda live ni kuonyesha tu mwili wangu, kuonyesha tu part of the body na nitapata pesa.
The challenge we are having with social media is that we don't have adequate controls, which would then enable children and minors not to use it in a bad way. But the biggest challenge we are facing is enforcement and implementation of these laws.
A 2021 study by the International Charity for Ending Child Prostitution found that 2/3 of Kenyan kids had access to the internet, making them especially vulnerable to sexual exploitation. And although the Kenyan government is considering stricter regulations for TikTok, it has rejected an outright ban.